All right. I don't know what I'm going to title this video, but the news is out. The cycle is dead. It's not just people are saying it's dead. The servers are going offline. The game is no more. They have an official statement. We're gonna touch base on it. I'm gonna read their official statement. I'm sure a lot of people think I'm here to say I told you so or to have a victory lap, but you know it's just like a low-hanging fruit. I'm not here to kick them while they're down. I had a lot of great memories with Cycle. It was a great game, and I met a lot of great people. And I think we're gonna read their official statement. Maybe talk about what we think could have gone better, what went wrong, and we're gonna talk about some of our favorite memories of the game and give it a proper send-off. Because if you're here, you probably cared about this game. Maybe not now, but at some point, it was some part of your life. Maybe last summer, season 1, or in the betas, it was a big part of your life. And yeah, so let's read their official statement here. I was doing some. We're gonna get some new logo work. Here's what you see right there. Where is this at? Ah, here we go. No one's even streaming the game anymore. So they released a tweet just now, or it's about 30 minutes old now. It says, Prospectors, today's news we share with a heavy heart. The Cycle Frontier will shut down on September 27th, 2023. It's kind of crazy that people are telling me that was the nail in the coffin. This is on my birthday as well. I don't know why I brought that up. I just thought it was kind of crazy. On my birthday is the day it's closing. Also, on my birthday was the day of season 2 dropped as well. They like this date for some reason. But just got a bit of a weird note there. The Reddit is turned off. I'm not in the Discord. If you guys remember, one of the community members kind of got emotional, just banned me for no reason. So we can't check what's going on there. But here is their official statement. The Cycle Frontier Sunset Announcement. Greetings, Prospectors. Today, we sadly have to deliver difficult news that we are sharing with a rather heavy heart. Despite our best efforts and meaningful improvements brought to the game since the launch and up to the release of Season 3, the reality is that the Cycle Frontier is unfortunately not financially viable. This brings us to the heartbreaking announcement: the Cycle Frontier will be sunset on September 27th, 2023. This is a very hard decision for us, but after debating it for a long while, we had to accept this is the best course of action for Jaeger. You will find additional details on our reasoning, changes to monetization, and all upcoming steps towards the sunset in this announcement. The story of the Cycle Frontier. When we started developing the Cycle Frontier, we wanted to offer an approachable, free-to-play extraction shooter where FPS fans of varying skill experience a satisfying balance of tense, high-stakes gameplay and rewarding progression. We first had 2 closed alphas and betas with decent results. I think they were beyond decent. I think they had really good results, actually. And I fell in love with the game. They were really good alpha and beta tests. But we were not prepared for what happened next. As our final beta and official release have been met with incredible success and enthusiasm, big streamers caught wind of the game and started playing it before hundreds of thousands of viewers. Players started flocking en masse towards the Cycle Frontier, which caused our servers to blow up and forced us to urgently upscale our infrastructure. In case you're wondering, that's a very good problem to have. All in all, things were looking up for the Cycle Frontier, even though we still had a long road ahead of us. The general behavior with online games after a good launch is a couple of nice weeks, then a dwindling interest until stabilization after a few months. During perhaps one of the most important periods of a live game, we faced many challenges. One of them, and perhaps the most crucial one, was the increasing number of cheaters shortly after Cycle Frontier went live. I'm going to add a little excerpt here. I really feel bad for the developers of the Cycle Frontier. I mean, the player base, you guys dealt with it as well. And imagine being some of the owners of Jaeger. I mean, they started this company like 20 years ago, with through their blood, sweat, and tears, with a few computers in an office, right? In a dream, right? And you have cheaters, just some acne-covered little kids, destroying your product, destroying your company. Your developers have been working on this for years, and it's finally blowing up, and you have these cheaters taking it away from you, man. That is so shitty. And I will 100% acknowledge that the massive cheating problem they had, that largely probably came from an Escape from Tarkov's issue with cheaters, just started them on the wrong foot. Like when they had probably all this energy to direct and all these funds to direct to more content for the game, they had to redirect everything into anti-cheat. And that sucks, man. I'll completely acknowledge, that that was not their fault. I've seen people are like, they should have released with an anti-cheat. I've never seen a game get hit so hard so fast with cheaters. I mean, guys, cheaters literally held my YouTube account hostage. It was crazy. I have never seen that in any other title. Although we had tools and measurements in place, we quickly realized we needed to improve our anti-cheat efforts to be able to ensure a fair game experience for all players. By the time we got additional partners on board for our anti-cheat efforts and could focus again on gameplay and performance improvements for the Cycle Frontier, many of you had already been affected, and as a result, we saw a significant decrease in our player base. Season 2 didn't generate enough attention to kickstart the game again, and therefore we've critically reviewed if the current state of the Cycle Frontier was in line with our initial vision. In a word, it wasn't, so we need to correct our course. That's why we announced the end of the global mandatory wipes, along with the introduction of free loadout runs, loadout presets, and changes to the early game experience, all in an effort to make the game more approachable. Just to be clear, this seemed to convince many players, and we saw an increase in our success metrics with the release of Season 3. Unfortunately, it was still not enough to make the Cycle Frontier financially viable. Therefore, we are saddened to announce the Cycle Frontier will permanently shut down its servers on September 27th, 2023. What's happening now? In the meantime, we'll apply a few changes to the game and its dynamic to make sure everyone can enjoy everything the Cycle Frontier has to offer. These include the following. You will not be able to spend money on the Cycle Frontier before the servers close. We're also removing our bundles and Aurum packs from the Steam and Epic games. Good on them. I wonder what will happen to people that have Aurum in their inventory. Like, I have 10,000 Aurum right now, and I've spent thousands of dollars on the game. I wonder if I'll see any refunds. Probably not. I mean, I'm not going to ask for any refunds. I didn't buy those skins because I care about them. I only use one skin in the game. I bought them solely to support them. They might not want to support me as a content creator, but I wanted to support them and this game as much as I could with content, with my money. I spoke with my wallet. But I do wonder what will happen with people that have Aurum just laying around. How much is 10,000 Aurum? I don't know. On the Epic Games Store, new players will no longer be able to install the game from June 28th, 2023. Players who have already have the Cycle Frontier in their library will still be able to continue playing the game until the end of service on September 27th, 2023. I wonder why they're making this change, why they won't just let people download it and come in till then. I'm sure there's a logical reason, but I don't actually know why. On Steam, players who don't yet have the game in their libraries will still be able to install it, and everyone is able to purchase the game or to play the game until the end of... I see. It was on the Epic Games Store. So yeah, I just skimmed right over this. I see now. Okay, so it's going to stay on Steam until the end then. The special offers in the in-game shop will still rotate daily and weekly, but every item will receive a 95% discount or more. The premium version of Season 3's Fortuna Pass will be granted to everyone for free upon login. Levels can still be skipped, but at a discounted price. We are making our progression faster than ever. All details above in our patch notes. We'll check these out. I'm not sure what they're going to do with patch notes to maybe really make people happy about this news they're playing. But let's continue reading. Refunds will also be offered to every player who made a purchase on the Cycle Frontier in the past 14 days. Also note that we will still provide customer service until September 27th. Last point. We strongly consider making the game available to everyone so that it can be enjoyed offline and possibly on private servers. Unfortunately, we've come to the conclusion this wasn't feasible. Cycle Frontier is a server-based game with a dedicated backend system which doesn't allow keeping the game somewhat available after being shut down. Wow, they're not going to give people any servers even. That is tough. That is really tough. People are going to be sad about that. What's next? Work on the Cycle Frontier has been an invaluable experience for Jaeger. We were presented with the amazing opportunity to work on a unique project and on a large-scale online game. We also were fortunate to make the acquaintance and talk to many of you, to countless players, creators, and other developers. This experience will not go to waste, or that we can assure you. We are making sure to learn as much as we can from everything that went right, and perhaps more importantly, from all our mistakes and shortcomings. We will now shift our focus to new projects using all the valuable experience, learnings, and feedback we've gathered. Make sure to sign up to our newsletter, follow our official Steam page, and keep an eye on our official website. One very last point we want to mention, we're incredibly grateful for all your support and dedication. We do think we've created something beautiful, but none of this would or even could have happened without each and every one of you. We are proud of our community, wish you all the best in future endeavors, and we hope to see you all again. Enjoy your time on Fortuna 3, and as always, and now more than ever, don't forget, Fortuna favors the bold. What do you guys want to do next? Would you guys like to look at the patch notes on what they have to maybe make the game exciting? Just spam yes or no. Do you guys care about this at all? I mean, I imagine most of you aren't even playing anymore. Do we lightly skim it? Or do we just maybe talk about things we like about the game, our memories? A lot of people are saying yes. I'll try and go ahead and add timestamps for this on YouTube. So if you're not playing, you don't have any plans of playing, you can skip to it. I think I want to talk with the people about good memories we have, things we love, things we hope to see in other games. And we'll probably talk about things that we think really probably took them in the wrong direction. And let's see what this is. I don't think we really need to read all this. So it's the final patch notes. So they're just giving some weapon buffs. Looks like they're gonna buff a lot of the end game stuff a lot. A lot of things that people have been asking for quite a while. They decided just to absolutely throw them at them. I guess they're just like gonna give the people exactly what they asked for, and then the people are gonna either have the fun they thought, or they made their bed and they're gonna lie in it. But just a lot of balance changes. If you're still playing the game, buffing SMGs, going to go ahead and then nerf the core slightly, and then reducing the movement speed, reduction on the shattergun. So things people have been asking for. Increasing the durability back on armor. People have been asking this for a long time. They're gonna go ahead and increase armor values as well. Oh, they're gonna talk about inertia. They were saying inertia was a bug. We made some very minor changes to acceleration and strafe movements. It's never a good shtick to lie about your large changes like that. We could find excerpts, but they specifically said that it was a bug that was going to be addressed several times, and right here it says that they made the changes intentionally. That's sad to see. The community manager swore it was a bug. Kmark's gains of selling materials to factions have been quintupled, 5x. Faction reputation gains quintupled. Laser drills have been brought back to Bright Sands by popular demand. Yeah, people really enjoyed the laser drills on Bright Sands. They're just like better PvP arenas, honestly, is the big thing. What else? Developer credits have been added to the game. Game newsletter has been, and they got some bug fixes. So they're no longer going to be working on this at all. All right, well, those are the patch notes. Let's pull up a notepad. Let's talk about, some of our favorite memories. For me, it was the Summit 1G clip. You guys probably all know what I'm talking about, where he's like, guys, if you land in the water, you're going to live. And that was the reason I got into the game. That was, I don't know. That was just funny. It got me interested in the game, and I downloaded it because of that, man. It was just a really good clip, and it just looked like something kind of silly. It was an extraction shooter genre, and it got me going. I remember playing the first beta, and getting to the point of unlocking the brute and going into the jungle in particular. You go in the jungle, and you really feel like you're on an alien planet, and there's all these noises. I remember I would creep around my knife and cut down the striders and sneak through the foliage on the branches. And I found out about the rocks, and they were really good money at the time, and I'd go in there and farm up the rocks and try and avoid the marauders. And that was with the old really cool crash ship that was down in the canyon, and you'd fight around it. It was so much fun. That really sold me on the game. And I remember in closed beta 1 as well, getting unlocking the voltaic brute and stuff, and getting my hands on the core, because they would spawn in the weapon crates quite a bit, and then taking an entire squad into Crescent Falls, and you'd have to go up in the desert, and there was only one way into the desert up at Starport, and you'd have to, the crushers were way meaner back then. The alpha crusher in the dungeon was nowhere close to what it is now. They were just bullet sponges, and you'd have to bring 3 guys with brutes, and you'd have to play pretty well. I mean, there's still the same crushers, right? But you'd have to use your ammo well, and you're making all this noise, and there's only one way in and out. And I have a video. It's one of my favorite videos I ever did on the site. It's called Hunting Crusher Poachers, and sneaking out of the basilisk and hunting down people that were killing these crushers. So they're making all this noise, and the crushers are third-partying them the entire time. And you have to carry, you were going in with 350 pounds of ammo and you're trying to carry it all out, and it was so much fun. And you had to go do that if you wanted that epic armor. There wasn't no exotic armor at the time. If you wanted that epic armor, that's what you had to go do. And it was so strong too. Like the armor was really tiered and it was so strong. I remember we were all itching, going crazy. I remember building the first Karma 1, and Carnivore, actually, you guys are familiar with him on Twitch, actually killed me for it in my video of the Karma 1. I made the Zeus beam. I made a video on that. It was a ton of fun. And then there was like a slight test where creators were allowed to play, because I was one of their first partners. And I met Kinky FTW. I was like yelling at him in the jungle, and I still talk to him this day. Great friend of mine. So I was in a little. It wasn't even officially a beta, but I got to meet him, which was a highlight of that for me. And then the second beta, man, what happened in the second beta? I'm trying to think. They had the drills and the oil in the second beta. Oh, I remember no one had skins, but somehow our skins got glitched. Me and a few creators had like weird skins. You guys remember that? That was weird. And I got like the weird prospector with the robotic arm and the cowboy hat. If you guys remember that, that was interesting. I don't remember a whole lot. It was kind of just like an introductory to like season 1 with the last beta. So I remember, I'm trying to think if anything really crazy happened. I remember people were figuring out the drills for the first time, the oil for the first time. Just a lot of fun, just PvP and having a great time, figuring everything out. It was all like so new. And then season 1, I remember it was like staged. It really took time to develop. And for a while they're like, running blue armor before people realized that exotic wasn't worth it. It was just like financially good. I remember people were running around in blue armor with like shatter guns and bolties and stuff, running around in the jungle and fighting around. That was definitely a highlight. That was so much fun. And then all the drill PvP, especially on Bright Sands, was a ton of fun before the cheaters started coming in. And then even when the cheaters were there, I remember playing every day with a lot of people. People were still like positive. They were annoyed, but they were like positive about the situation. Like as soon as the cheaters were done, then the game would be on track. And they hit the cheaters super hard in season 2, but I think people had enough. It got extended, I'm pretty sure, as well. They released the roadmap that looked really good, and it just didn't end up coming to fruition. But season 2, I mean, they launched with the Alien Vision helmet. It was super cool. Theros Island was still new and unique, and it's like a labyrinth, and I still think it's an amazingly well-designed map. A lot of you guys will probably refute me on that, but it's the only map in the game that actually like utilizes like the alien technology and the storm, which is like the whole basis of the game and the whole trailer, right? You don't really do any of that any other part of the game. The only issue is that players just like rat in dark corners on it, which I think really ruins it. But it's set up to like an interesting like battle royale map. It's really cool. The forge was excellent, and all the like enhancements and enchantments you put on your armor were sick. But I don't know. Season 2 just went on for so long. I remember I ended my subathon. I focused on my life. I moved, and I was gone for like 3 or 4 months. And it was just season two, and it got extended and extended and extended. And I think that really withered people away. I remember trying to tell the developers several times, just wipe the game. You don't even have to give them new content. Just wipe the game, and I think you'll have people come back in droves. And what do I know? I'm sure they pay people full-time salaries to figure this stuff out. But I thought that would work with seeing you guys sit there just endlessly smashing PvP like it was Call of Duty, for months and months and months. And then season 3, I mean, I don't know. The Howlers, it was cool the first time I fought it. The second time I fought it, but it just got annoying. And there was a lot of just unpopular changes. They really changed how like the movement worked. I don't know, the Mark II weapons, even just standard AR-55s were killing people again. It's like they reverted all the changes they made that really made people happy, like linear armor, things like that. And it started to go downhill in season 3. I guess we can talk about things we think that they did wrong. I think they did a great job in the betas. Maybe the first beta where they went wrong is they were using Steam keys. They had to manually give us Steam keys. I remember getting pages of Steam keys, and I had to hand them out manually to people. They didn't have any sort of like drops format or really any way to like allow people in, which was pretty weird. But they may have not had like the server infrastructure to allow people to do it. But I'm not sure how long it takes to set up like a back end server But I would have hopped on that as soon as possible. What else? I don't remember anything going on with beta 2. Season 1, when they launched without linear armor, that was a big problem, I remember. And then I remember they started getting really woke. That's kind of when I got kicked out of the partner program for standing up for the developers. If you guys remember, I got kicked out for standing up for the developers. Someone was just trashing on the game, and I stood up for the developers, and that's what kickstarted everything into me losing my partnership. They were just, I don't know. It's a really bad take, and I should have realized that things weren't going to change. And I remember Kippen Bro, who's one of their first partners as well, told me that time heals all wounds. So I really tried to make the best content I possibly could for the game. And I even used that phrase when I reapproached Graticus, and he told me they didn't want anything to do with me. And I was just like a piece of shit. So that really sucked. But what else? I mean, the cheaters of Season 1 were insane. They had to get an anti-cheat and fast. But it seems like recently the mistakes have just piled up. Like with Season 3 getting delayed so much and then effectively coming back with no content and then effectively saying that there's going to be no wipes. Realistically, I mean, that was a really hot take. I mean, they copied Escape from Tarkov, and like Escape from Tarkov gets a lot of tie-ins from Rust and DayZ, and like the new server is really what pushes that game. It's that FOMO, man, that gets you going. And I think they just looked at Hunt Showdown. They liked the idea of Hunt Showdown, and they said we're gonna go wipeless. But I think that was a huge nail in the coffin for them. I know me personally, a huge drove of my friends. You guys might remember Josh from Season 2, the subathon. I play them every day. Hilarious guy, colorful guy, really smart guy, and he loves Cycle. He said to me, I said, Season 3 is coming. I was like, it's gonna be their last wipe. Will you play with me? He's like, now that they're not wiping, I will never fucking play that game again. I'm sorry, Callan. That's what he said to me. And a lot of my friends had that same sentiment, but he's just delivered, dude. His hit, you know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of my friends just didn't want to come back with no more wipes. They were just like, all right, even though they could play one more time, they just didn't want to. It really felt, even though like Tarkov, Rust servers, they all wipe, right? That's what they like. But they just felt like it was frivolous just coming to a game that they basically thought had no future. Like they saw it before it happened. Then in Season 3, going back on a lot of the changes they made, like going back off linear armor systems and the nerfing the Forge again, and especially never fixing the alien vision helmet. They never fixed it and brought it back in the game. They just wrote it off. It was one of the coolest things that came in Season 2. Oh, I guess one thing they really messed up on was how their community managers treat the community. I have worked with so many different community manager teams, and it is always a phenomenal experience. It's like super charismatic people that are going out of their way to work with content creators and work for the community. This game, their community managers always just like treat everyone like below them and like shit. Every experience I've ever fucking had, man. And their moderators are like the most power tripping moderators I have ever seen. There's that one girl, what is her name? I don't even remember. You guys have probably interacted with her, but she has caused so many problems and gone out of her way to get people removed from the partner program, get people banned. And she's just such a toxic person. Such a toxic person that like pretends to be positive. This thing is, her name is Stalker Ent. One of the foulest persons I've ever interacted with in like the last couple years. And they try to pretend like they're so positive. It was awful. And that's just an example of their like crazy power tripping mods. That and listening to Reddit. They would always listen to Reddit, and Reddit doesn't know what they're talking about. I said that in my most recent video. They literally go back and forth all the time, just always faulting the devs, right? And the devs just need to stick to their guns. They knew what was good. They had it the first time, and then they listened to Reddit, went off the linear armor system, and people didn't like it. There was no progression. Then they got back up, and then people enjoyed it. And then they were like, the casuals on Reddit again, and they flipped again in Season 3. And it's like, you can't go back and forth like that all the time just based on Reddit. They just need to stick to their guns, stand up straight, and don't let some nerds online tell them what to do. That was a huge mistake. I mean, the content creation program, it changed like 3 times. They were basically, all the content creators were effectively lied to all the time. The content creation manager they hired had no idea what he was doing at all. I'm biased because what happened to me, but even people like Corbry, who got a a new job. He got a pay raise. He got a new house. He gave them a notice he was going to not be able to stream for this little period of time. It ended up being like a month. They were just like, too bad. Kicked him out of the program after telling him that that would be perfectly fine. They understand life happens. They did the same thing to a bunch of different creators. I know I was overpromised and underdelivered several times. I mean, they sat me down in meetings. We had hour-long meetings back like 2 years ago. And they told me all the things that were going to come to the game. Most of them have not come to the game to this day. And they were telling me why I need to swap over, why I needed to be like a big Cycle Frontier content creator. I was going to be all these opportunities. And they just overpromised and underdelivered. And it was all this Scraticus guy, this one guy. And all the way till the end, I mean, in Season 3 with that creator contest, people keep saying, I keep seeing this thing, they're like, just show the email. What a lot of people don't understand is the reason why I inferred that I was in the contest is because they didn't send acceptance emails to any creators at all until like a day or two before the contest ended. Like right when the video came out, they decided to send them all out and then just not send me one, right? And because I fit all the criteria of who was allowed to participate in it, I assumed I was in it. Now we were already 3.5 weeks into this. I was sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a day, sleeping back here, farming content. I mean, I like quintupled everyone's numbers, and I'm farming all these views to them, making them money. And then that was like how they just like, you know, pulled the rug from underneath me. And it was just all that Scraticus guy. And it's such a petty thing to do. And I was so pissed. People think that I was like the nail in the coffin. I know Vasco likes to think that I was like the nail in the coffin for Cycle, but I just exposed exactly what they did. And then I wish them the best. I mean, if you even go look at my pinned comments, my sentiment was like, don't send any hate to the developers. Continue to play the Cycle. And this is just what happened to me. There was no malicious behind it. And dude, they did me really dirty, but they did the whole community dirty in Season 3. I mean, they just didn't stick to their guns ever, man. They didn't stick to their guns, and I think it 100% was not the developers or the company. I think it's a great company. I think they had really talented developers behind it. I think it was 100% the community managers and the content creation managers. Like all the information, they are in charge of collecting all that information and presenting it to the developers so they can make us a better game. And they're just constantly, you know, they're just reading off. They're like, oh, they don't like armor anymore. Oh, now they do like armor. Oh, now they don't like armor. And the developers aren't getting any meaningful content out or actually progressing the game because the information they were presented was just bad. They were given like bad comms, basically. I 100% believe that is where this game went wrong. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel. But I don't know. I don't know how we can send the Cycle Frontier off right. I really do wish them the best in their next venture. I hope their MMO takes off. I will probably go out of my way to like try and make a bunch of content for their MMO when it comes out and just give it a kick. I'm not going to have like any sort of militia, or I'm not going to be mad about what happened with me or anything. Just try and help them out as much as I can because they got done and dirty with Season 1 with the cheaters. How they basically, I mean, they completely killed their game. I think the cheaters in Season 1 effectively killed their game. They probably had to spend so much time, energy, and money on this. A YouTube montage of the good times. Do you guys want to do that? What do you guys think? I think you should play some Cycle, Cal. I can't. The servers are offline, dude. I see a lot of people that are saying kind of shitty things like dumb devs or it was coming, they had it coming, but I think that's kind of shitty, guys. I think you're kicking them while they're down. I think we can talk logically about where we think things went wrong. But I think kicking them while you're down, I know people are emotional and they feel like they've invested time, money, energy into this game, and now it's gone. But kicking them while they're down is a bad take, and it bleeds character, in my opinion. I don't know. I think I'm going to end the recording here. In terms of my channel, we're going to be playing other extraction shooters. Tarkov, Hunt Showdown, and anything new that's coming out, Dark and Darker. So I'm sure you guys will see me around more. And for those of you that I haven't, I made a lot of really good friends. I got acquainted with a lot of you guys, especially over on Twitch, some of you guys on YouTube. And I wish you guys all the best. I hope you guys, find a new game that works for you. And I love you all. And I'll see you guys in the future. I don't know.